I'm giving all praise to Yahweh Bashim, Yahshua Bashim, Rakakodah, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to try to make this real quick. Let's see where the Spirit leads me. Anyway, this is a response to a video that was put up by GMS Vegas Sit-Downs 144K. And the title of the video is IUIC Goes the Extra Mile to Villify Polygamy, which means a man having many women. And you have what's called polyandry, which is a woman having many men. So it says, whole lesson contradicts Isaiah 4:1. So this is the lesson that he kind of showed a couple of clips from this video. It was covering how it's vilifying how a man having more than one wife is really against the Most High, and is really against, and we're in we're not in a kingly state, so we shouldn't be having more than one wife. If you want to really get deep, you shouldn't be having no wives, like Paul said. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1 on down. He said, there's not too many words. I wish you could be like me. Don't have no wife. So do you guys push that? A guy in there, he don't have a wife. So they'll ask him, do you have a wife? Do you have a sister? Oh, I don't have a wife. Well, you got to get one. Well, wait a minute. This guy might be in the same spirit as Paul is in, where he don't have a wife, or he don't need no wife. Paul at that time didn't have a desire for a wife. So when you read, okay, this was put up on Labor Day, polygamy, and you can watch the video. I already know what they're going to say. They're going to make these individuals that are the men, and mainly the men, focus on the men, feel bad about you can't have a side chick. You can't have a mistress. You can't have two women. You can only have one woman. You got to get legally married to her, and that's it. So when somebody brings up Isaiah 4 verse 1, oh, that's talking about the kingdom. Okay, so you know what we're going to do? I'm going to make it easy. I did videos on this subject before. So I went to the chat just to see what the chat says. And the chat agrees with what we say. You know what? Let me go directly to the chat. So I typed in Isaiah 4 verse 1, meaning Isaiah 4 verse 1. And in that day, 7 women, and 7 means completion of woman. Some brothers are going to have 4, others are going to have 40. And this is going to be, you see what Trump is doing, which in a way is a good thing, because now women can't make it on their own. They're forced to get with the men. They're forced to experience a situation called sister wives, where you got one man, he would be the patriarch, and you might have, let's say, 5 or 6 women, and they work together. They take care of each other's kids. And that's the way it's got to be. And that's how it's going to be in the kingdom. But it's going to start on this side because of this situation that Nero Trump put America, and really it's going to affect the whole world. So a lot of these women, they got 3 jobs and I'm still living in my car. And they're good looking women. So, all this I don't need no man shit is out the window. You're gonna come, and especially the more wars that you have, if this war, if it turns into a full scale bloody war, U.S. Declares war against Venezuela, that might be another Vietnam situation. You're gonna have a lot of men, American men, U.S. citizens, men, and even women, because they're gonna put women out there too, but mostly men. So a lot of them are gonna die. They're gonna come back injured. So through wars, you have what's called a shortage of men. And when you go in the ancient world, when the one sovereign nation destroys the other sovereign nation's armies, you defeat most of the men. What do you have left? You have women and children. So what did the men do? What did Israel do? As a matter of fact, there's a law in that. It said, look, when you go to war, you defeat the enemy. You can take the woman for yourself, but there's a law that applies to her. There's rights that apply to her. She gets a chance to mourn the loss of her parents. So you give her a full month. Take the clothes off of her captivity. Put on clothes you wanted to look like. Pair her nails. Cut her hair. And you're able to go into her, and she becomes your wife. So if a man captures 3 or 4 women, from another nation that they defeated the enemy, and they can't fight back because they defeated most of the men. And in some cases, you slaughtered all of the men, and you took the woman, and you planted your seed in that woman, and she had your children. These guys talking about, well, you gonna have Edomite, you gonna have women that half breed. No such thing as no half breed in the scriptures. You can deal with the only nation that you can't deal with and lay with are the Canaanites. But Ishmaelites, Edomites, other nations, they're Hebrews, they're Shemites. You know how pretty them babies come out when you got a dark-skinned brother with a nice-looking Edomite chick. Do you know how pretty them babies? Them are some pretty babies. That's the chick that you want is the chick with the black father and the fucking white mother. That's the chick you want. She got them white features. Why do you think these black women, black as night, black as the ace of spades with a blonde wig on? A lot of these entertainers, they lighten, pretty much all of them, they lighten their skin. Anyway, let me read this again. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of 1 man. What day? Before the kingdom comes. Now, it's beginning now. It's not talking about the king. In that day is the king. No. We will eat our own bread, saying we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Now in the kingdom, our women are not going to have need for nothing, want of nothing. They're going to have servants. They're going to have maidens. They're going to have servants wait hand and foot on them. They're going to enjoy their children, and they're not going to have to work. We're not going to have to work, and they're not going to have to work, because we're going to be the elite of the planet Earth. So if we are the elite of the planet Earth, our women are certainly the elite of the planet Earth when it comes to women. So they're not going to be working and sewing and doing. They're going to be waited on by these other nations. You're going to have cooks. You're going to have people that clean your house. You're going to have people that massage, women that massage your wife or whatever, or tend to her needs. That's how it's going to be. We're going to be super, super rich. So it's obviously not talking about the king. Isaiah 4 verse 1. Oh, that's going to happen in the kingdom. That's the stance that the IUIC takes. IUIC should stand for Israel United and Change. IUICC, Israel United and Change and Confusion. But I'm going to show you the chat and even the Bible Hub. They're going to say, well, that's going to happen because of a time of war and a shortage of men. So it says, a meaning and context. This verse is part of a prophetic section in Isaiah that deals with judgment and restoration. We're in a time of judgment. We're not in a time of Daniel 12 as of yet, but it's coming to that time. To understand Isaiah 4:1, it's essential to see it in the context of the previous chapter, Isaiah 3. which describes the judgment of Judah due to their sin and pride. Verse breakdown. In that day, this phrase signals a prophetic future time. And we're in that prophetic future. We're at the door of that prophetic future time. We know that this man ain't got too much longer. His kingdom is not. Matter of fact, this is year 249. When you go to Google and you type in the average lifespan of an empire, and it pretty much says 250 years. So this is 249 years. The phrase signals a prophetic future time, often referencing a time of judgment or divine intervention. 7 women shall take hold of one man symbolizes desperation and imbalance. 7 women shall take hold of one man symbolizes desperation and imbalance. These women are desperate because they can't make it on their own, because the things that the Nero Trump is doing, that they got a nice little job, but it ain't making ends meet. So they're going to have to get with a man, and they're going to have to understand that that man is going to have other women, because they're going to be in pretty much the same situation that you're in. So let's read that again. 7 women shall take hold of one man symbolizes desperation and imbalance. These women are desperate. Imbalance meaning what? Men being put to death, a shortage of men. Ukraine is pretty much open. There's pretty women in Ukraine. So we can fly out over there, and pick them up. That place is going to be there when the kingdom come, when the missiles come. I don't believe they ain't going to get hit with no missiles. The main place that's going to get hit is the Levant and Babylon the Great. You're going to have some buildings go down in the earthquake, the great earthquake. But who you going to have in Ukraine? A lot of women of various age, young women, women in the teenage years, women in their 20s, 12, 13 years old. And who you think we're going to do? What you think we're going to do? They're going to be our concubines. And we're going to build back the nation through Israelite women and women of the other nations. Why do I say that? Because that was done in the past. King Solomon's son, Rehoboam, he became king after King Solomon, and his mother, he was considered a half-breed. His mother was an Ammonite. After the judgment described in Isaiah 3, especially the deaths of many men in war, a shortage of men, that's why it says in Isaiah 13, an Israelite man shall be more precious than gold. There will be far fewer men than women. Why is that? Let's go to the parentheses. Especially the deaths of many men in war. And that's in second Ezra's 16, if not 15. Let me go to that real quick. Like I said, I did this before. Did this video before on this topic. Okay, give me a second here. Let me come over here to second Ezra's. You got this thing on the news, the Epstein files. You got the victims. They're speaking out, and I know Nero Trump is nervous because he was at the island. He was. There's several pictures of him and Epstein. So the walls is closing in on these devils. This man has very little time left. We're talking about months Months. If you know where I got that from, movie I got that from, you're good. So, anyway. I'm sorry, let me do it this way. Let me do a little cheat sheet right here. Okay, begin wars. Okay. I don't want to read the whole thing. And we're familiar with this. And we're coming to this scenario as we speak. Prices are going up. We're now beginning to slowly experience a thing called hyperinflation. We suffered inflation during the Biden administration. Now we're beginning to suffer hyperinflation, where prices are even going to go up more and faster. And your quality of food will go down. So it says, let me start from, you really could read the whole thing. Let me start at 30. Or when as a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Food shortages. 31st verse. Even so, in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword, with guns. The modern day sword are the guns. It's going to be every man for himself. Hey, this is featured in the movie. The whole movie is about famine and death. The movie The Road. Great movie. If you haven't watched it, you should watch the movie. If you can get the DVD and you can, watch the, what you call it? Where you have the producer and the director actually speak about the movie. It says, and then the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old. No plant, nothing's going to come up, trees and fruits and so forth. And her ways and all her path shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. They showed you that in the opening scene of the movie starring Will Smith, I Am Legend. He's going through Park Avenue. I know it was Park Avenue because I drove through Park Avenue 1 billion times. And I was in, when there's no men to cut the grass and trim the grass and so forth, everything grows up. You put concrete, do you know grass and trees will grow and push right out of that concrete, break the concrete? You chop a tree down. You don't root it up. You put concrete over it. That tree will break that concrete and grow. Trees are powerful. It says, 33rd verse, the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms, having no man. And you know what's happening now? You got the manosphere thing. Men going their own way. These women are desperate now because they have these, they go to clubs and they'll have these speed dating things, and men don't show up. It'll be a whole bunch of women and maybe 3 men that the women might not want. And they're complaining on how that men don't talk to them no more because we're tired of your bullshit. We're tired of your bullshit. You know what we want from when a man deals with a woman, what does he want? Why does he take all that abuse and bullshit? Because he wants what's in between your legs. That's all the nigga want. That's all he want. And really, you having children most of the time, for the most, Jake don't say, oh, I'm gonna marry this woman, we're gonna have children, and we're gonna live happily ever after. That's not gonna happen. He wants to pop you. You get pregnant, you discuss it, you decide to go ahead and have a kid. You know, you good for a couple of years, then he moves on. Or you move on, your bitch ass move on, then you get another nigga. Oh, he gonna be the right one for me. All of a sudden you realize you got 4 kids, with three different dudes, and your principal man, your first love, he don't want you no more. Because maybe he's got a kid and this, that, and the third, or maybe he don't got a kid and he don't want to have a kid with you. Hey, I'm looking at women like, you know, hey, I'm almost afraid to have sex with them, man. With all these diseases out here, especially in chocolate cities like Atlanta, got a lot of women that lay with different men, and a lot of those men go both ways. That's why the missiles cannot come quick enough for Esau and Jake. Jake is heavy into being, you know, men on men with men, women with women, working that which is unseemly. You got a lot of Jake men that are down low. We had a dude in the other camp, but he's affiliate camp. This dude was a down low dude. And after camp, he would go get with a dude. Then he finally confessed it to his, his camp leader. His camp leader tried to be understanding. I said, man, let that nigga, don't have that nigga come around me. Don't have him to fuck that nigga. I hear some of that mo shit going on. Don't come around me, man. Just keep it moving, nigga. Hopefully a truck or a fucking building fall on your ass, bitch. So you got men that have beards, that play basketball, that, you know, jog, that lift weights, that drink Budweisers or Heinekens or Coronas or whatever, and watch the Super Bowl and the NBA playoffs and get with the boys. But then they got another side of them. They go and they might dress up as a woman and maybe have another man or a woman do something to them. It says the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms. Women shall mourn having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. Now these women need helpers. The little salary that they got, they went to college. They got straight A's. They got the 4.0 grade average. They doing good. They don't need no man. Or they jump from man to man. Ain't nobody want you, black hoes. I don't even look at the black. I don't even look at you. It's very rare I'll look at it. Every once in a while, I look at his sister and I say, well, she might be it. She might be the one. I don't know. I don't know. I might have to change my mind. But that's far and few in between. You know what I look at? I look at them Latin tribes. I look at the Edomite women, the Moabite. I look at them other nation women and the other tribes women. Okay? There's one Jake woman I smiled at, and she smiled. She gave me all 32 teeth. And she was all, and I said, man, I said, it turned me on because she was too fucking desperate. I said, nah, bitch, you too goddamn desperate. Anyway, it says in the wars, when are the wars going to take place? The wars are not going to take place in the kingdom. The shortage of men are not going to take place in the kingdom. It's going to take place, it's taking place on this side. It said, in the wars shall their husbands be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. They're going to starve to death. Hear now these things, and understand them, ye servants of Yahweh. And let me do this. I believe that's in the 15th chapter. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Those days are the time of Jacob's trouble, which is before the kingdom. In that day, Isaiah 4 is talking about on this side, not the kingdom. 7 women shall take hold of one man. Completion of women shall take hold of one man. That's going to happen on this side. And you don't got to get paperwork to marry 7 women. You're just going to deal with women. It's against the law in this place, in this country, Babylon, to have more than one wife. You can get arrested for that. But you can go to the ramrod anytime you want. Men could deal with men. Hey, if you notice, Nero Trump, he's not going after most. He's not going after them. He ain't got no problem with them. What's that country with the new leader in Africa? Somebody help me out. He just passed a law. He just passed a law where if you are happy, if you're a Mo, you're going to get at least 5 years in jail. There's other African countries where they lock you up for life or they kill you. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine, that's Daniel 12:1, and great death, the time of Jacob's trouble, which is also the time of Esau's trouble. When our troubles start, when our troubles start and end, Esau's troubles begin. The beginning of wars, and the powers shall be in fear. The powers represent the government. The beginning of evils mean an ill time, a bad time. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Trust in Yahweh. When you go down to about the 70-something verse, I'll go to it in a minute. It said the scriptures tell you the Most High will guide you. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation, anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Let me come down here. Really, you should read this whole chapters, the whole 15 chapter 15 and chapter 16. Chapter 15, the first couple of verses tell you don't worry about these unbelievers, these Christians, these jakes that are in Christianity, don't worry about them. Oh, let's have a debate. I don't want to have a debate. Okay, let me see something. Where is it? I want to go right to the key verse. I really want to read this whole chapter. Okay, there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. All Israelites fear the Lord, whether they know that they're Israelites or not. Israelite men, if they're not a part of an Israelite camp or realize that they're Israelite, they know a man's not supposed to be with another man. They know that by nature. That's why they go down low, because when the Israelite men go down low, is because they know it's wrong what they're doing. But they do it because they're wicked. Most High gave them the spirit to do that, as opposed to what IUIC says, oh, they do it on it. No, the Most High put the spirit on them to be a Mo, so the Most High can judge them. It says 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear Yahweh. So they started with the northern kingdom, now they're going with the southern kingdom. You remember, the northern kingdom started crying to the southern kingdom, like, why don't you help us? That's that spiritual connection. Nero Trump is not arresting Arabs. I thought these Arabs were terrorists by nature. Remember they used to say, well, you got these Arabs in here. Most of them, if not all of them, are terrorist cells. But why isn't he getting after them? He's not getting after the Chinese. He's not getting after no nation but the tribes. He started with the northern kingdom. Now he's putting his attention on the southern kingdom. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. They cast them out of America. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, who are the prophets, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Hear, O ye, my beloved, which are the Israel, saith Yahweh. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand. What is that? The time of Jacob's trouble. The days of whose trouble? Israel's trouble. The time of whose trouble? Jacob's trouble. Hear, O ye, my beloved, which are the Israelites, saith Yahweh. Behold, the days of trouble, the time of Jacob's trouble, are at hand. But I will deliver you from the same. That's the elect. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. So what I got to do? Just God, trust in the Most High. We haven't ate in 3 days. They tell us if we take the chip, we can eat. Well, trust in the Most High. And the guide, 76th verse, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and prophets, saith the Lord the Most High, let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. So now let me go real quick to the previous chapter. Okay, 15. Like it says, the first couple of verses, it says, actually the third verse to be exact, fear not the imagination against thee, for let not the unbelief of them trouble thee that speak against thee. That's these Christians and these other people that come against us. Muslims, Moors, these black conscience, Kemetic people. If they would come to hear the truth, you hear the truth. But we're not having a debate. We're not discussing anything. Okay, we're lecturing to you. There's a difference between having a discussion, having a debate, and having a lecture. We are lecturing to you. Matter of fact, let me look up the word lecture. Okay, this is that live thing. These women are coming out, and they all know. Well, I don't know if they might kill all of them one by one. This guy, Nero Trump, is really looking bad. When you go into the history of Nero, you know what he did. In the beginning, the Roman public loved him, and in his latter years, they hated him, and he committed suicide. So is he going to commit suicide this time? Well, we don't know. There was a rumor out that he was dead. Let me see. Okay, let me see. What did I say I was going to go? I was going to go to look up the word lecture. Let's look up the word lecture. Lecture meaning. Lecture meaning. Lecture meaning. An educational talk to an audience, especially to students in a university or college. You got the professor, he speaks, the audience or the students shut up and they take notes. So we're not here to compare, well, you know, if you go to the scriptures and, you know, the scriptures say that, you know, the God of the Bible is really an Egyptian God. Where's that scripture that they go to? I think it's remember me from Egypt. See if I can find that. From Egypt. Let's see if it comes up. Okay, give me a second, y'all. Let me try it this way. God said, remember me from Egypt. That's not what I want. Oh, hold up. Let me do it this way. Do it this way. Bear with me for a minute. Let's try this. If I had the wording down, I can get it. Bear me for a minute, y'all. Oops. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, let's try this. I believe this is it. Okay, this is it, but it's a different. Let me do this. Hadn't gone through this precept in a long time. Okay, let's go over here. I'm gonna look at it in the King James. These comedic jakes used to bring this out. Okay, yet I am Yahweh, thy God from the land of Egypt. So these guys will say, see, your God, the God of Israel, he's really the God of Egypt. He's really Ra. You don't understand these scriptures. They say, yet I am Yahweh, thy power from the land of Egypt, meaning you became a nation. You were a tribe, small families, a small family that became a tribe, that became a nation in the land of Egypt. Let me read it again. I'm going to read in NLT. Yet I am Yahweh, thy power from the land of Egypt. It's not talking about he's an Egyptian god. And thou shalt know no God but me, for there is no Savior beside me. Now let me read that in the NLT. Let's see what it says in the NLT. I have been Yahweh, your power, ever since I brought you out of Egypt. So when in the King James, it's written differently. That's why these dudes took it. That's why you got to know. That's why you got to be keen when it comes to these scriptures. So anyway. It said in the 16th chapter, we're going to we're going to come against the power structure, the government, okay, for the sword, and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up against another people with swords in their hand. Revolutions, right? Civil war. Republicans versus Democrats. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings, the government, presidents, governors, mayors, nor princes, mayors, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're going to start over. These governments are going to pack up and get the hell out of here. They're going to do what's called a continuity of government. We got to get out of here. We got to go in spaceships. We got to go to another country. This country's going to be brought, pulled down, and people are going to fend for themselves. Because when he cut everything for Americans that are, they rely on Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, EBT, welfare, different grants. So what he did in essence was cut all that, but he's giving it to other nations, Ukraine, Israel, these wars that he got to pay them troops. He's taking that money in to do his thing. He's like, fuck you, we ain't gonna help you no more. So they're gonna fend for themselves. So in doing that, let me come back over here. Isaiah 13, a man shall be more precious than fine gold, even the gold of Ophir. It says after, I'm right here, after the judgment described in Isaiah 3, especially the deaths of many men in war, and that's what's happening. Like I said, Ukraine has a shortage of men. There's a lot of pretty women in the Ukraine. So we got to go over there and get them women and impregnate them. There will be far fewer men than women. Because what he says, 7 women shall take hold of one man, symbolizes desperation. The women are going to be desperate, and imbalance, shortage of men, more women than men. So a ratio thing. If there's 20 women to one man, a man and a woman desire, he gonna push women away. So you're gonna have to go with men that you're not you don't really desire. And then if you act up, you're gonna get kicked out the house, or you might get beat down, because who are you gonna call? 911. 911 is gonna be off. Is gonna be disconnected, because 911 is looking to save their own ass. This usual gender ratio, whether it be 10 to 1, 20 to 1, 7 to 1. Leads to multiple women seeking one man for marriage. 7 means completion, which was culturally abnormal and shameful. Culturally abnormal and shameful if you didn't have a man. They call you an old maid. Let me see something. Let me do this. Let's go to old maid. Old maid, meaning a single woman regarded as too old for marriage. If you don't mind your tongue, you'll die an old maid. In other words, the mother or somebody's telling her, you got a attitude problem with men, and men don't want you. It's a card game in which players collect pairs and try to not to be left with a odd penalty card, typically a black queen. I didn't know about that. A black queen, because the original queens were black. An old maid is a pejorative term for an elderly unmarried woman or spinster. A spinster unmarried woman is a spinster. That's old school. An elderly, she can be 25, 26 years old. She ain't got a man. She ain't got no kids. Behind her back, they calling her old. Oh, she an old maid, and she's miserable because a woman is built to have children. They're walking, talking incubators. They're sex objects. That's what they are. When you sell you have a commercial for a brand new car, whatever, brand new whip, you'll have a woman talking, right? A woman in a bikini or whatever. They used to do that. They don't do it much, but women are. So it's telling you, if you get this car, you can get a woman that look like this. It says spinster, though it can also refer to a fussy, prim person, and unpopped. Oh no, she wasn't popped a couple of times. An unpopped kernel of popcorn. So when you look at a woman and say you are unpopped kernel of popcorn, that means ain't nobody wants you. A species of morph for the child card game. The term is considered offensive and outdated, as it was used to criticize women who did not fulfill traditional societal roles of marriage and motherhood. A woman definition, old maid. I'm right down here. And we call it hitting the wall. What does it mean when a woman hits the wall? That means she's an old maid. But she could be an old maid with children, which technically she's not an old maid. But ain't nobody want a 35-year-old woman with 5 kids. That's not yours. That's just reality. A woman who has never married. This is the most common meaning, referring to a spinster who is considered past the usual marrying age. So now let me look at, what did I say I was going to do? She hit the wall, meaning.
According to Collins Dictionary, to reach a point where you cannot go any further or achieve any more.
Okay, let's try this. Let's go to, maybe it's here. Let me see. Bear with me for a minute, y'all. Okay, Urban Dictionary. That's what I wanted. Let me see. Let me just read it here. I might open it up. Urban Dictionary. Hit the wall. The hit the wall is to suddenly reach a mental block. It could be as simple as running out of ideas, or as complex as not knowing what to do in life. Let me do this. Hit the wall. When a girl becomes officially ugly, that girl hit the wall. It could mean a certain age. She can still look good. You know, she's 35, 36 or whatever. She got 3, 4 kids by 2 or 3 different men, whatever the case may be. And ain't nobody want to date because they got to deal with the kids, because she's going to try to pull this man into the kids, and he's going to be the stepfather and all that bullshit. And she's she still look good, but she if I can get a 25-year-old, 23-year-old, I'd rather do that than to get a 37-year-old, right? A lot of these older women go to the gym to make themselves look good, to maintain that they might be 40, but they kind of in shape and they look like maybe a 25-year-old. Does not necessarily mean she's ugly. That means she's I said, how you lie? Oh, I'm 28 when she's 37. Basically 9 years older than what she said. And what do they call it? Catfishing? Let's look that up. Cat fishing. Let's see what comes up. Trying to go, a person Susie got, and then Johnny buying new clothes, a new truck for Johnny, and a beautiful, let me do this. Bear me for a minute, y'all. Catfishing. Let's see what happens. Okay, it ain't coming up. Anyway. Catfishing. Let me try it one more time. On the web. Let's see how this comes up. They didn't give me what I want. Bear me for a minute, y'all. I'm sorry. Come on back to this. Okay, right here. This unusual gender ratio leads to multiple women seeking one man for marriage, and marriage is when you lay with the woman, which was culturally abnormal and shameful. We will, like today, it's against norms that a man have a bunch of women, but it's becoming reality. That's what they did in the ancient world. We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. The women are offering to be self-sufficient. Because you got 7 women living with one man. Let's say the rent is $3,000, $2,500. You got all the 7 women working. You know, they give a certain share, and it's easy. You got more money left. They're gonna work together. That's what sister wives are all about. I should look that up. What is a sister wife? In a polygamous society, any of the women married to the same man, any of the women, plural, married to the same man. Polygamous society. In a polygamous society, this is turning into a polygamous society. So 7 women shall take hold of one man. Isaiah 4:1 is starting to take place now, and it's going to take place. It's going to take place, or it is taking place on this side. It's not talking about the kingdom. In the kingdom, we're going to have many women anyway. That's going to be the norm, because we're going to bring back so many children. So you need to have 1,000 women, and you're going to be constantly in the different women. You're going to be hitting them. Every time you hit them, they're going to get pregnant. Every time you turn around, you got another 20,000 children. You have servants, tend to them. Your women are going to be set. Can you imagine that? You got 1,000 women. There's 1,000 places where they can live. They ain't going to be living under one roof. They're going to be spread out. And you're going to come and hit Sarah one night. The next night, you're going to hit Rebecca. Or Miriam. Or Elizabeth. Or whoever. Or Dorcas. it says, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. The women are offering to be self-sufficient. They won't demand the man provide for them, which was typically expected in ancient marriages. This shows how desperate they are. These women are desperate, man. So we get the pick of the litter. They only want the social and legal status of being married, especially having a child. In a society like that, when all hell breaks loose, a man becomes a protectorate. I hope that's a word. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. They're going to say, oh, this is my man, Johnny, or this is my man, so-and-so. So a man that respects that man knows not to mess with that woman. Oh, that's Johnny's woman. Well, that's one of Johnny's women. And ancient is you women in America, complete, especially you Jake women, you completely ain't nobody who fucking wants you. Ain't nobody who wants you. You got a lot of Jake men, they realizing that Edomite woman, and the trend is going to follow with the other women because all women on the planet Earth follow the white woman. So they seeing that Edomite women are fantasizing about Jake men, they're going to start fantasizing about Jake men. Like you Latin tribes, you don't deal with niggas. Well, guess what? You follow the white woman. So when you realize the white woman's following, getting with Jake men, you're gonna want to get with Jake men. So we bring a lot of babies back, thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of babies back. The earth is, it tells you in Isaiah 54, the earth is going to expand. We're going to be on other planets. It said in ancient Israel, unmarried women, especially widows or those without children, often face social shame, which today they call the old, back in the day they used to call it 60s and 70s, they used to go, she an old maid. You know she an old maid. Being called by, and they laugh and snickle at you, right? It says being called by a man's name, being married to him. And marriage just means you claim that woman as your own. It said they want marriage not for love or provisions, but to remove the stigma of singleness or barrenness. Well, in this case, that's not always true. They're desperate, and the word desperate came up 2 times. I'm going to try some judgment, theological and symbolic interpretations, judgment, aftermath. This verse highlights the devastating consequences of war and divine judgment. Time of Jacob's trouble, the loss of men lead to societal upheaval. Cultural insight reflects how important marriage and family were for a woman's identity and security in ancient cultures. Moral warning. The situation arises because of the people's rejection of the Most High's ways, showing how sin leads to social breakdown, foreshadowing restoration. Isaiah 4 shifts right after this to a version of hope and restoration. That's the kingdom coming in. See Isaiah 4 verse 2-6, suggesting that even after judgment, the Most High offers healing and renewal. To who? To the Israelites, not the other nations. In summary, Isaiah 4:1 paints a vivid picture of desperation, social collapse, and gender imbalance, shortage of men, caused by divine judgment, the Most High's judgment. It reflects the tragic consequences of sin and rebellion, while also setting the stage for the redemption hope that follows in the next verses from 2-6, right? And that's talking about now. That Isaiah 4:1 is coming to pass now. If you'd like, I can also show how this verse is interpreted in the Bible translations or by various commentaries. Let me do this. What is the IUIC Israelites or Hebrew Israelites take on this subject? Question mark. Okay, I wasn't able to find any credible or official commentary on teaching IUIC regarding research term, but many sources critical of IUIC reference broader doctrinal positions, particularly the emphasis on Old Testament law identified. Right, Old Testament law, they talk about keep the law. The laws, there's laws that go into you. How do you deal with more than one woman? If you have one woman that is hated, the other one that is loved, and the one that you hate has your first son, he gets inheritance over the son of the woman that you loved. Okay? Testament law identified as the true Israelites and their views and manhood, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it says what we do know about IUIC approach, although there's no direct source based on IUIC's general teaching, here's what might reasonably be inferred, though again this is not sourced from IUIC directly. A strong Old Testament emphasis. IUIC often emphasizes the inherence of Mosaic law and portrays themselves as representing the true Israelites, redemptive. Okay, they didn't give me nothing about. Okay, if IUIC did comment on Isaiah 4:1, it's plausible they might interpret the verse symbolically as highlighting Israel's desperation of restoration and identity, removal of reproach, and perhaps call it a call to repentance and renewal. Okay, they don't give the information. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. With that, on to the next. Shalom.